what you don't know is that Lauren and I, for years, have been saying we need a sex therapist. I'm like, universe, please bestow onto us a sex therapist. And then here goes her on WhatsApp, like la di da di da. Oh, look, it's a sex therapist. Let's connect. And so everything just like when I tell you it, everything lined up in perfect alignment, and just what we're supporting each other through, and then just all of the elevation and thought that you've already provided to us just from those few conversations. We knew like this had to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because the idea of the idea of actually being really clear, like within yourself, what you need and what you actually want, or what you're longing for, or what you're, interested about, or whatever it is. When you can find, like you said, it's like kids, or like the kids, interaction, and I would call it the play area. It's like a playground, and
Mhm.
it's a very like healing space or a healing context when we can connect with the playfulness.
Yeah.
Because then we are not forward, we're not backwards, we're not in the anxiety or the stress that we have, but we're just in the play area or on the playground. Which is also very connected to being a sexologist or a sex therapist, and also what people usually are looking for inside their like intimate connections or sexual connection. That it should be creative, it should be playful, it should be safe, and I should be able to just explore or move on without the fear of being rejected or judged or whatever. So it is a lot, like it's the same, it's just in different areas. So I think for me that start was also very, it says a lot about what it is or why you should follow it from a professional perspective as well.
I completely agree. I completely agree. This is very new for me. Exploring in this childlike excitement. It's familiar to me, but it's very new in this season and in this stage of my life because I've gotten rid of all those cloudy lenses. Now it's like, oh, I remember this feeling. Oh, I remember. I remember good things came from this feeling when I got it multiple times and consistently. I was like, let me see what this leads to. And usually, since I've been outside of the country or in period, it's always led to more excitement and more childlike safety.
Can I? So, are you saying that you've abandoned that childlike curiosity and that childlike joy through like growing up?
I think that it's safe to say that. Abandon sounds such like a harsh and sad word when you're talking about your child.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. I have not exercised that. If it's a muscle, I haven't exercised that realm or been in that realm for a very long time.
Yeah.
And with travel, and when it can be with food, it can be with experiences, it can be with anything. When you are excited like a child, nothing else really matters. No, no, like how am I gonna get from here to here? You're like, oh, there's a restaurant. Let me just bolt across the street, not caring how, like the craziness is going on the street. I just want the food. It smells so good. Like that's just how it's been for me. But anyway, I'm absolutely excited to have ignited that feeling, and I'm glad it led us here. And I'm pretty sure it's going to lead us more exciting areas. But I do want to acknowledge some people in the chat and some things I'm already starting to see. Someone asked if we were going to save this live. So yes, we're going to make sure to save this live as soon as it's over. It should be posted no more than 5 minutes afterwards. So you can always rejoin and come back. And a big hello to Ayeta, I think,
Ayeta or Ieta or yeah,
from Western
Nieta
Australia.
from Western Australia.
Hello,
Nice,
hello.
we just cover all of the world, all
Well,
of
we're
us, why not?
yeah.
I think this is maybe the first time I've seen someone from Australia, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
you
Awesome.
we had started talking about the playfulness, right? Like that's something that I think you said playfulness,
Child area,
child,
play
the
area.
child playfulness, and how there's like a level of safety that you should have within yourself and within your relationship. But one thing that that you had taught us or told us about was safety is not just something that happens through words.
Yeah, you don't just ask someone, "Are you safe? What kind do you make you like?" You can go somewhere, but you don't really feel or maybe achieve that safety.
So, like, maybe we can just break down what does having a safe space or safety mean or feel like.
Sure. And I like how you were moving us backward now to the play area and this child conversation, because if you just think about how we are choosing to help small children to regain comfort, it's not about talking. Like, we're not standing watching a baby on our bed and like, you will be fine, like, I'm here for you, because they don't get it. Like, it doesn't make any sense if we would do that. But they need us to hold them. They need to feel our heartbeat. They need to feel our nerve system so that they can regulate based on how we are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody who's ever held a baby that is crying knows this, because you panic as well. When they are panicked, you panic automatically, because it's so scary to be doing that. And then you probably, after a while, you're like, okay, I got this. Like, okay. And you try to like balance it out. But we have the same, it's the same similarities when we have conversations with our partners or friends or whoever that are close to us. Because if it's a complicated conversation or topic, and I'm just telling my partner, no, but it's okay, we can talk about this, then it's not 100% sure that I'm actually giving that energy with my body, because
Mm-hmm.
I might be scared for this topic as well. I might really want us to have this conversation, but my body language and how I'm feeling will be there as much as the words that I'm saying. So even if I want it to be an easy conversation, if I'm saying it, but my whole body is showing something else, then my partner will see that. And then the message is like, it's like, it's not like 100% translated to the right like channel. So even if I'm saying it and my partner hears it, it's not 100% sure that my partner will actually believe what I'm saying, because my whole body and body language is saying something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's easier for people to like, but I told you this, or like, I've been saying it all the time, or like, you say you trust me, but I don't feel it, or like, and then you start to question, because you're trying to find out like, what space is it? Like, can we really have this conversation? Or like, am I really safe?
Yeah.
Because if it's not 100% clear, then we actually don't, if we don't feel safe, then we're not.
How do you check you personally? How do you check, if you feel safe? What are some of the things you kind of walk yourself through?
Um, well, first of all, if it's um, if it's something that makes me like nervous, like doing something new, then I know that I usually get a little tensed in my shoulders. I can feel like it's, I'm a little tensed in my chest, maybe. But if I'm scared, then I usually have like a lump in my stomach. Like, I really don't, like, it's like, it's not feeling safe at all. And if I'm afraid to speak up, then I usually have like a lump or like a stick feeling. Oh, there's your door. Are you open?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to see on the top screen, but it was the wrong camera.
So I think it's a lot about like how does fear or insecurity feel in my body, like personally, and then the next step or the next question is like, am I acting based on how I feel, like the fear, and then it will be like a fuzzy message or a fuzzy things coming out if I'm trying to say that I'm not scared, or like what should I do now, like with this feeling, like how do I how am my body actually
So,
feeling in this situation.
I I think it's so interesting because what I this society, just growing up in this world, we're taught how to disconnect from what we are feeling, right? People like to just say like, "Oh, I'm sad, I'm happy," or whatnot, or just don't even want to connect with what the emotion is, but even further, what that emotion is, how that emotion is manifesting within their body, right? Sometimes, like when we're talking, and she's like, how do I feel, or what am I thinking? Sometimes there's no thought. It's literally just like I'm just feeling. I don't even know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling. And I think that for through our conversations, I'm learning like it's being being aware of like, all right, I know I'm feeling something. Let me sit with this this feeling, even if how difficult, how uncomfortable it is, how like it feels. Like, let me sit with it, figure out just what it feels like and where in my body I'm feeling it. Sometimes I don't even realize like my shoulders are all the way up here, you know? and then from there it's like trying to like create a like connected puzzle piece, like, okay, when I'm feeling this way in my body and I'm feeling it in this area, this means that I am scared, disappointed, whatever. And now it's like, okay, so now when I'm recognizing this feeling and I know that it's connected to this, what is it that I need to
Feel safe.
like to feel safe?
Back to homeostasis.
Yeah, I like to say, like, how do I bring myself back to homeostasis? So it's like I feel like this is so many levels deep, of not just knowing what your emotion is, but knowing what your body is feeling, how your body is feeling it, connecting it back to whatever you're going through. Because I feel like our the things that we're feeling, we've created our own pathways to make ourselves feel good through our lifetime.
And it's automatic. It's like it happens without even thinking.
Yeah.
So when I feel like when my pride, or when I feel like hurt or shame or something, then it automatically ignites my pride. And I'm like, okay, I'm automatically gonna act this way. I'm gonna act like I'm not hurt. I'm gonna da da da. And it doesn't even allow me to even check in and say, dang, Lauren, how do you feel? And so imagine in many years, you get more disconnected from how you feel in your body, because you're going automatic to all the ways that you're using to cope and cloak your feelings. I think that hit home, that I resonated with, and I'm pretty sure everybody who ever has experienced any emotion can resonate with that. I don't think we go ahead, Linda. Go
No,
ahead,
I was
Anna.
just, because you said when we grow up, I just wanted to point out that this is so much about the norms in the society where we grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you grow up in a society or a context or a family where it's always okay for you to feel how you're feeling, which is not so common, like if we think about it, then if you're so frustrated and your parents or caregivers was just like, I can see that you're frustrated, it's okay, like I'm here for you, or when you're sad or when you're disappointed, and you always get this feeling that you're accepted, then you grow up with the feeling that your emotions are okay. You are accepted no matter how you're feeling. And it's very few of us that have this, because there's always, teachers, cousins, parents, partners, whatever, that's not as accepting when it comes to our fully register of emotions and behaviors. So it's, we all come with this. It's in the growing up package of life. But and this could be also why it can be so hard to just sit with it and feel like, okay, I'm feeling so much shame or so much guilt for this situation, and I cannot deal with it. Like, it's too scary because I have 20 years of experience that this is not accepted and this is not possible for me to handle. And then I might not be as good in handling it in my relationship in the present either, even though my partner could be really like empathic and respectful and all of these things that is necessary. But if I'm sitting with 20 years or 30 years or whatever, like, experience of, I'm not okay when I'm feeling like this, like I have 20 years experience of being rejected, being told that this is not okay, that blah 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 blah, then I might not even trust what my partner is telling me, because I hear the words, but my whole body is just saying run, like run, like this is not going to be like that, and it, run. And then it's so hard to have a conversation about something, because I can hear the words, and maybe my partner is a little nervous as well, because it's it's a hard topic. It could be whatever, like cheating or jealousy or something. So my partner is a little stiff, and then my body, because my body is already in flight, run, pack your bag and run, block them on the phone mode, then I will not be able to even try to sit down and actually okay, I'm so scared, I'm shaking, but okay, I can just sit here and try to be here. Then it's too hard.
Right.
And I think we lack empathy for ourselves in these situations, because we push it so hard, because we really want it to work or really want this to move forward. And if we run, or it gets fight or whatever, then we get even more shame and guilt of how this played out. But we didn't give ourselves 5 minutes of empathy and wow, this is so hard for me, I didn't know, shit, I couldn't sleep all night, and now my stomach hurt, and this is so hard for me, so hard.
And it's not even that you are intentionally trying to bypass those feelings. It is an automatic kind of subconscious response, or it's not anything you're intentionally doing. And so when you're in those moments and you automatically want to run and you're in flight mode, what you said hit for me in our off camera conversations, and when we talk on the side, there was a moment we were talking and you picked up that I'm very logical brain, and what my automatic response is, I like to use more words or rely heavily on my thinking process,
Deductive reasoning.
yes. And that may not allow me space to just sit with my feelings. And Anna called it out in such a gentle but alarming way. I guess it was no, this is the way the cadence, it was no, this is important. Let's rewind back. But it was in a way of I'm curious too. Let's go back. What is she talking about? And she was take a deep breath. And I was like, you know what? And then she said, feel with she's like, where do you feel it in your body? How do you feel in your body listening to the words or what you're about to say? And that breath connected me to my body, and I was able to connect with whatever I was feeling. And that is not anything that was in my scope. I didn't even know that this was present, that this was even happening. For somebody to identify that, I think you use the words, I see you. And you like, this is what I display for you. You felt it, but it was a, I see you. I see this moment. Let's revisit. Mm-hmm. And it allowed me to even recognize that, wow, I need to intentionally practice connecting with my body, because whatever I'm feeling, whether I'm unable to, I'm very good at saying it and logically be able, but that is my strength. But what I feel weak in, and what I feel maybe insecure in, or maybe I haven't practiced it at all, is connecting back to my body and the emotion that I feel, and that breath made an impact. And I'm like, okay, I need to practice this more. And I think we were able to get to a new way of understanding, because I used a different route. Instead of using so many words and so much energy, I use a different route. Like, what is her body feeling? Usually when you're talking to me and we're talking to each other, I can feel what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. And so when we connected that way, and I was like, oh. And I said words from how I was connected in my body. And then she said, oh, it just felt like a release. Like, I felt like,
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of go a little bit back, because I saw somebody post, I think her name was Natalie, say that in the what is it, Caribbean families, like, this doesn't happen in Caribbean families. Mm-hmm. Not like
author Natalie Johnson. She said this is not common in Caribbean homes.
What she was talking about was, like, it's okay that you feel this way and stuff like that. And as somebody who has grown up in a Caribbean home, I can completely attest to that. I grew up in a very passive home. So if somebody was angry, like, or upset, it would get to the point where it was like an explosion, and it would be all let out, but it would not be addressed,
But then it would lead up to the explosion. Wouldn't be the automatic thing. It would be like, would it be passive?
It potentially be some passive aggressiveness and stuff like that would lead up to an explosion. Then the explosion is, to children, it's like, this is because of you, like, some of the things is like, you're gonna give me a heart attack. Like, what?
I'm a 3-year-old child. Like, how am I gonna give you a heart attack?
Like, you want to kill me? You want to kill me? And I'm just like, no, I don't. Now now as a child, I'm feeling responsible for the potential death of, like, people around me, because they're mad at me for something I didn't even know I did wrong. And so I think growing up in that environment, I learned, one, with passiveness, that to deal with your emotions, you go in a room, you lock yourself in there until food is ready, and then it's never talked about. And so there's been, for me, over years and years, this detachment from, like, having to talk about what I'm feeling and having to deal it on my own. And so when we'll get into snafus or whatnot, like, that's the pattern I want to go into, is to hide, to run away, to protect myself, while here she is just trying to, like, come at me with all these questions. I'm like, I don't know how I feel, because I have to think about it, So it's like, and now it's like, because I've never really had to sit, think about, discuss what I'm feeling within this relationship. That is a new thing that I'm training myself in, understanding about myself, and understanding about, like, why it is the way that I am, and recognizing what that looks like, what that feels like. Because she could read everything. She could read my face, my body, and everything. And I'm like, I'm fine.
It's like your whole life, you may not have been able, like you said, to see, to recognize, to even get a good look at how you're dealing with your own emotions. And so here you are in this relationship, and I'm like, why are you doing that with your face? Why are you doing that? Like, your body language looks this way. And like, I've been trying to deal with this. Why are you showing me this stuff? And it's,
I
it's
think
just how it
everybody
happens.
can relate. everybody can relate to this. It's like, no, I'm not doing anything. And they're like, yeah, you are. It's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. What do you ask?
It gets to the
I'm
point
fine. Like,
where you can't hide that stuff from your
Yeah.
partner, and it just becomes a whole thing. And yeah, that's basically the story of our lives.
Yeah, yeah, Natalie. She's like, I'm always processing. I'm always processing too. She'll be like, what do you think? I'm like, I'm processing. I'm trying to
but
figure
it's a
out how
good.
I feel about it. You like there's a
Yeah.
lot that I got to sit with. Sometimes I can't answer questions or what not right away because I myself have to sit and be like, all right, there's all this stuff happening. Let me zone into me and be like, what, how do I feel about this? Sometimes it's not even going to happen in 5 minutes. It may happen in like 24 hours, maybe a week. Maybe I need, some more experiences in this realm so I can clear up how exactly it is I feel.
And my impatient, also, I realize there's an anxiety that I feel by I need to use so many words, and I'm like, what do you feel? What do you feel? Because what I want to do is I want to grasp as much information so I can tell myself a certain story to make sense of what's happening. And I just realized this week how it's such an anxious thing, and I'm used to, in my household, I can read everybody up and down. Like, oh, mom upset. She mad at dad. I don't know what happened, but that was how I survived in my house. Not that I was like, it's not dire survival, but I learned how to read people. And I'm like, I'm reading her, but I want her to confirm what she's saying. Like, I want her to know that she is feeling this way as well.
And that's something, yeah, I think that's also been, you like to use the word dance. That's kind of been the dance of within us, our relationship dynamic is, she can see things and she understands things about me and what I'm showing, where I'm still trying to decipher it, understand it, dissect it. Sometimes it's so uncomfortable I don't even want to deal with it. So it's like there's a little bit of pressure where I feel like I have to speak for myself, and that is sometimes where we butt heads because the way that she grew up learning how to make her feel safe, which is ask questions, get to the bottom of it, get the problem solved and stuff like that, conflicts with my coping mechanism, which is I want to just be away, not talk, be internal about it. So
Yeah.
that is the back and forth thing that happens.
Yeah, and I mean it happens to everyone. Exactly this. My dog just got my charger on charged because she's, I don't know, she's swirling in the cables here trying to get my attention or something. It's also a way to steal some attention, I guess. But we could like put all of these things that you said, like we can put it down into maybe 3 or 4 sentences, or that I can like summarize it. The first is all of our coping strategies are there for a reason, and it's okay. Like doesn't it doesn't mean that I'm going this way and my partner is going that way and it will never work, or like I need to change or my partner needs to learn this, or like because we usually get into this fix mode and we're blah, 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 blah. But it's like, with that breath, it's more like okay, like I'm brave enough to just sit here with it, not going anywhere. I'm just sitting with it. And my partner is sitting with it, and we're just in, how do I feel in my body? How does my partner feel in this body that might be like a lot more scared or a lot more, wanting to run away or whatever it is. And we're not judging. We're not here to give opinions. We are just brave enough to actually be with each other, right?
Interact.
And when we can yeah, when we can be there, then we can actually feel that we are with each other in this pain. But if, like you were saying, like, I want to solve it with the words, I want to read and understand so I can confirm that I'm still safe and can handle it or come with a solution, or, you know, because I really want to fix it, or like I really want this to work out, and I'm using my brain, and now I will, you know, make a way for us, and I got it. Like, I'm the strong one, I got it. Because this is how most of your experiences of solving things have worked out. But if your partner doesn't feel like accepted or seen in her pain or her fear or her insecurity, then you are solving a problem that she doesn't know if you actually understand. And this is the problem by using your brain, like only your brain, to solve emotional things. Because we have the same dynamic in my relationship. So if I feel really scared or really stressed about something, my partner is like automatically solving it. And I'm like, my brain works fine, thank you. Could you just shut up and sit here? You know? And he's like, but we don't have the luxury to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. You know, can you just shut up for 10 minutes? Oh, like this HDHD between us, like not working out right now. And then he's like, oh yeah, shit. Like then he remembers and he just sits down and he like touches my shoulders and he's like, no. And then because my body feels seen, then and accepted, then I can be ready to talk about like what can we do? How can we solve it? How is this affecting us? Or whatever it is. But it's like, again, it's like in the playground. If your kids are, you know, they fell off the swing or something and they are lying there crying, then you don't go, you lift them up and you put them back on the swing and like, I got it, you're back up, high five. And then you give them more speed because they're still like crying. So then you actually have to, you know, hug them or like, oh, are you okay? Like, oh, I see, you know, something. You're not just like, okay, I will take you under the arm and I fixed it. Like, good parenting. This is the same. It's just that it's so scary for all of us in intimate relationships when we feel the disconnection part. Because if my partner is scared, my body will automatically mirror that. So if you feel scared, then you go up to your head and you're like, shit, I need to solve it. This is important. Like, I will bring my best thing here and I will solve it for her because I love her and, you know, she's important and I don't also enjoy feeling like this. So and then it's of course even more painful when that solution doesn't work because it's like, shit, I'm giving, I'm pushing, I'm really trying, and she doesn't even know what to say. Like, she doesn't even have an opinion. Like, she's processing. What the fuck does it mean? Like,
Oh, my goodness. Exactly. Exactly. And what am I supposed to do with that? I'm like, I feel so vulnerable.
yeah, but we do this because you are in the, this is really important for me too. You know, this is what you're trying to tell her with how you are acting or choosing to, you know, try to map it and understand it, because you're basically telling your partner, this is so important for me too, and I'm really scared that I'm not sure how we can do this right now. I'm doing my best. It's just that message, it's going through, but it's not 100% translated because you're using different parts of you to try to understand it, and then it will always be like a mismatch until you're like, okay, wait, we are just here right now, this is not my responsibility to fix, I don't need to like have a 10-year plan on how this relationship will work out, I just need to sit here 2 minutes and shut the fuck up. And okay, like, I would start with that. Because you put a lot of pressure in yourself when you take on the role to like I need to fix it, I need to solve it, it's on me, like I know I'm good in this, or like blah 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 blah. But then you're also alone in trying to figure it out, and you're supposed to be two. You're supposed to be a partnership. But when you do this, when you're like, oh shit, okay, I need to be, I need to fix it because I'm the whatever ideas people have, I'm the strong one, or I'm this one, or I'm the whatever. Like, there's a lot of stereotypical ideas we can have about each other and about ourselves. Uh, but then you're actually not with each other, because one of you are like there and the other one is like, hello, I'm still here. you know Hello.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like I don't even hear you because the emotional distance is too far. Okay, so good that we're waving, but should you write a sign, or what do you want to do? Like, the Wi-Fi is lost, but it's not.
I
And
experienced
then,
that. I've experienced
yeah,
that in real time. It was almost like a aha moment. I've been using a road that would not get to the destination. It's probably running parallel, but we are not reaching each other. I had to really use that road that you gave us, which was like connect back to body. And I wanted to ask you, how does all of connecting to the body, feeling safe, all of these things, how do they connect to what your expertise is, which is sex? How does this connect to dance? All this is called embodiment. So like,
it's a great question. I do need to find my charger because my dog is still like swirled into it. Give me like 10 seconds and I will
okay,
answer it. But then check if we have any questions from the chat. Also, maybe I will
okay.
come.
I know that I remember one question that had came up in our channel, and if you're not in our channel, we put out on our stories and channel for people to ask questions. Anyway, one person had asked, what's the best way to tell your partner they aren't pleasing you? And that question, I feel like that question kind of ties into what we were also talking about. What I hear is, how do I create a space safe enough for me to express where I feel like I'm lacking, but I'm also fearful of how my partner is going to receive or respond to that.
So yeah, we said a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we before you left to find your charger, we asked the question, and then we tapped into a question that someone had for our channel. But if you're just logging in, we're talking to Anna Linde, sex therapist, sexologist, and she's gonna first tell us how what we talked about, embodiment and connecting back to body and creating a safe space. How does this all connect to sex or impact your sex life?
Mm-hmm.
In every single way, of course. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think everybody can just like understand it when we're saying it. Like, of course it will impact it, because if I'm having a fear of rejection, for example, which means that I might be fine when my relationship is fine and I'm not so scared, but then my partner asks me to do something new or try something new, or we need to like adjust something in our sex life, and I feel maybe that I'm not so good at something and I actually don't know how to do this specific thing, or I'm not feeling 100% secure, just not actually knowing what I'm doing. Then my fear will hit of being rejected, and then my body language and my action will switch in this intimate situation, which will probably like keep us a little disconnected, because if we are there and it is already an intimate situation, we have less clothes, maybe we are choosing to share this, and we are longing for a situation where we can feel creative and playful, then we do have to have that connection and feel safe with each other, to be able to do mistakes, to mess up, to lose the lust, lose the, whatever we are building up, because it's like waves. Sometimes you're just done when you're done, and then you can laugh about it, and then you can pick it up again. Or, like I have a dog, we can be in the middle of, it's like a really cute making out, and then suddenly the dog is throwing up on the floor. Then it's like, oh, that's great. Thank you for that. Like, that's really, yeah. And then we're just like, ha ha ha, and somebody needs to clean it. And I'm like, yeah, so that's a nice smell. Yeah, that's, yeah. And then, that's it. But I think that why it's connecting, because if I don't dare to be myself and to show up as me and to be vulnerable, then it's really hard to have a deep, intimate connection, no matter what is included or not in our sex life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's so important to be able to hold a safe space for the things that are difficult or tricky or complicated or scares me, um, and to learn what it means to hold a safe space, not for everyone's partner, but for my partner. And how can my partner hold a safe space for me? Like you were saying, like I usually talk a lot, I'm going to solve it. And then when I took this deep breath and just like, then it shifted in your partner, like, wow, such a relief, or like it felt much easier. And then that was an important key for you, because it's not about one of you not being able to do it or not wanting to do it. It's just about finding the right way between you in your relationship. Um, and it's the same when it comes to, relationship coaching or sex coaching or intimacy coaching or whatever it is. It's about finding the keys in that relationship. There are no right and wrongs, which is also very easy to get stuck in. Like, I need to do it like this because my partner thinks this, or da 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 da. But it's like, it's not a right or wrong, because you're in a relationship with the intention that we want this to work. And I am ready, I'm brave enough to try to compromise or to switch some things to make you feel more safe. And I would like the same for me. And that's a safe space to have a hard conversation. But we also, but from my point of view, we should also bring these qualities, these intentions to our intimate and sensual meetings or moments. But then we do know, we need to know what we're scared of to actually be able to do it.
Yeah. We were talking about triggers, how like you have to know what triggers show up in your body and how it shows up in your body. But then you also said like there's also sexual triggers as well that can elicit or that can trigger kind of the same responses and show up in your intimacy and how how you feel sensually.
Yeah, like a million of them. Because it's like when you're in your body, they're like there, because you don't have the luxury of keeping things at a distance, because you're like naked and you're supposed to be switching into another mode, because arousal is also a very like high embodied state. You're not only aroused in your head. It's not like, wow, I like what I'm seeing, and then you don't feel your body. um and also this is also connecting with like questions about lust or attraction, because that's also something we feel in our body. That's not in my head, and it could start in my head, but it's not like a state of my thinking that I'm horny. Like, it's, and for some people I think they can actually feel it like that. Like, I do feel it in my head. It's like I want it in my head, but my body is not there. And then this is usually a situation where you're not so much in your body. You're a lot in your head. Maybe because there are fear of whatever it is in this situation, or the relationship in general are not so safe as I wish it to be, or I have a lot of stress in my life that is blocking me from being fully present, or it could be like a million things. But if we don't check in with ourselves, then how would we know? Like then we are kind of lost in trying to figure it out. So I think the checking in part, and to be able to sit with it and like take time to sit with it, because that's really scary as well. But when you sit and you just like, okay, I'm feeling like this, it's here, it's like this, and it's really making me uncomfortable. But then you are showing up for yourself. And if you're not showing up for yourself and keep solving or running or whatever coping strategy you have, then you're not really with yourself. Then how can you be with your partner?
Yeah. I can see how all of that can create. It's like it potentially can create all these types of issues sexually, depending on how you connect with your body. I think for me, if I'm too much in my head, then my body stays asleep and not in the mood. And
Yeah.
it's just gonna have to be an intentional practice, maybe 10 minutes. If something does really tick me off in my regular day to day, it's like, can I give myself 10 minutes to just sit with this? Can I give myself 2 minutes to sit with this? This is uncomfortable as hell. Let me just start off with 30 seconds. Let me just sit and, like you said, show up for myself. Because if I get an accumulation of days and months of 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 2 minutes here, I'm going to now create this space for myself to sit with these uncomfortable. And it's going to lead me somewhere to maybe I can create, I will know how to get in front of this next time. I'll know how to communicate this to whoever needs to know to help me, create even a better safe space. It's just everything we're talking about always comes back to, do you feel comfortable enough? Do you feel authentic enough? Do you have people around you that will help you create this safe space? Do you sit with yourself long enough to help yourself create a safe space?
Yeah, I think I wanted to add on to what you were saying, because I remember maybe a few weeks ago you had mentioned how you wanted to be more intentional with your social media use, because you're recognizing, or maybe it was you or something we were listening to, I'm not sure, but you're recognizing that you start delving more into TikTok, or reading books or being more alone, when, and this was a connection you made. You didn't know that was happening, but for some reason you connected that when you're feeling mistrust or you're feeling disconnected, you start delving into things that are distracting,
or that makes me feel safe.
Or that makes you feel safe.
It gives me that time away to sort out my own stuff. Kind of like a little bit about when you talk about your family structure, like when something is going on, everybody kind of goes in their own little room and does their thing to help create their own safe space.
Self-soothing.
Yeah. And you're right. Like, I think that I was able to get to a point where, like, oh, like I am doing this thing over and over again, and this is my way of creating my safe space. What does that indicate for me? How do I want to bring in Natalie on this? How can I ask or it kind of like it made me ask myself, wow, you still don't feel the safe space within this. There's more work to be done. Maybe it may spark more conversation or whatever. It just really showed me a way of looking into my own coping mechanisms and where I feel like I lack in safety, or where I can put more safety,
Yeah.
things around.
Yeah. So important.
Yeah.
You were just
Let's see. So
finishing
we
each other's sentence. I'm not sure, like, were you done? Because you were finishing each other, and I was like, do you want to bounce back,
I thought that's
or
what
did you make
we
the
did. No,
same thing?
oh yeah. I think completed that sentence.
Oh, good. I was, double check, double check. I saw a
Natalie,
question. I think this was from Natalie. Yeah, about sex. Then that it's easier to go in and like focus in the partner's pleasure instead of actually like figuring out what's going on, or how do I feel, or like what do I want. That's so common. And I think it's common because usually like the intimate situations that we are in with our partners, they follow a certain pattern. So it's usually start like this, and then it goes like this, and then it ends like this, and then after it's like this. And sometimes we are fine with that pattern in the beginning, but along the way, when our relationship changes or develops, or we have crisis, then we can be ready to do something else, or we can be ready to just like, okay, wait, this is actually not the best way for me to do it, or like this is actually not the best beginning for me, or I need a different quality of touch right now in my life. I'm longing for something else. But if we forget to express it, also if we forget how it like that we're actually feeling it and express it for ourselves, then that pattern will become more like, a prison, like a comfort zone prison in our sex life, than a creative and playful moment together. Um, so this work that you are doing, like how can we solve conflicts and what's going on and how can we put it into words, and all of this like really important coaching, it's so connecting with the conversations and the embodiment and the safe space we need to have in our sexual, sensual, or intimate connections. Um, and I think there's a lot of norms around sexuality and around how I'm supposed to act, what I'm supposed to like, what I'm supposed to say. Like there's a lot of stuff that is always messing the flow up. And we also need to identify what is messing it up. Like, is it in my head? I need to look like this, or I need to, have these positions, or I need to, there's a lot of ideas that get stuck that we don't even see until we enter a situation and we realize that shit, I'm not so authentic. I'm playing a game, or I'm lying here thinking, I wonder how I look, or did I shave my legs, or it's something else than actually just being free enough to enjoy the situation I'm in. And that says a lot about how scared we are, or how uncomfortable it is, or what's actually going on. So those thoughts are telling you a very, very important signal on how you are feeling.
So what you would so for example, we've gotten a few questions that's like, how do I tell my partner that how they're pleasing me doesn't make me feel good? And to me it sounds what the first thing I'm thinking that people need to, I guess, dissect down into is what is how do you feel about this,
like current touch or current situation.
right? Like what is it, like, in your body, what is it that you are longing for? And I like to we were using the word desire a lot, and you helped us look for, switch to the word longing. A lot of us are longing for more of something, or for something to be different, and we are afraid of bringing that and advocating for ourselves in our relationship. Maybe we can talk about like what longing describes versus like I desire this, and then how can how do we go about building that safe enough space for people to get on the same platform to open up into, let's
try this differently. Baby, you can touch me this way. Or, before you can get to the telling your partner, of different adjustments that you may need or want or long for in the bedroom, it may start off first with creating that safe space, which is why what this whole thing is coming back to is embodiment, how you feel in the body. And then you will watch and see how it leads to, oh, I can talk to my partner this way because we created this safe space. But
yeah. So how would we go
Yes.
about, starting that kind of conversation?
Yeah, and I think like this question that Natalie was pointing out, I think it was Natalie, that like how wait, I need to go backwards some more, backward. Yes. So like if I'm more with my partner, like I don't know how to talk with my partner when my partner is doing like this because this is not the best way for me, but I don't know how to express it. But then it's a really good question to ask, like, are you scared of how your partner will react? Then are you with yourself or are you with your partner in this fear? Because that's the thing. If I'm scared that my partner will feel rejected or feel stupid, or am I scared because I haven't been, brave enough to express this in the 8 years we have been together? Or is it maybe that I actually don't know how I really want it? What kind of touch or situations I want to be in sexually, because sex and intimacy is not the most comforting space for me to be in, or all three of them. And all of these things that I was saying could play out in 30 seconds when I'm starting to undress, or when I'm supposed to feel confident enough to undress my partner. And this hits in the body, goes up to my brain, but it spins as, the speed of light. And then the arousal goes down because the anxiety goes up or the stress goes up. Then the sensual or sexual arousal lowers. And I need to try to perform because I don't want to be interrupted by my fear, because I see that my partner is really enjoying this. And then we have another layer of fear coming on. And then the next 30 seconds is like, it's like we're lost in all of this. And we really don't know what to do. So we just try to continue. And the easiest, maybe not a bad solution, is like, okay, I will just, let my partner to do the things my partner want to do, or I will just do this instead because I cannot relax right now. So I will be the one leading, and I will lead, and then we're stuck in a pattern that I'm leading, or my partner, whatever pattern it is. But slowly, then I'm disconnecting with what my body is actually telling me and what I'm longing for, because the signals I get, I'm not really paying attention to. So after a while, it could be really hard to actually know, like, what am I longing for then? Like, what is it? Like, I don't even know what it is. Like, how would I know? You know? And it was like our first conversation, or second, I don't know. It's been so many conversations. Like, it's been so long time, but it's still not no time at all. When I was doing like a quick role play with my partner, I was like, I can just show you. I was like, hey, can I borrow you 30 seconds? But I mean, how much information didn't you get in those 30 seconds? A lot of information.
well, You're asking,
about
right?
you.
I
Yeah, about
Okay.
yourself, like the thinking, the feeling. It's a lot of information that
yeah,
appears. And then it's more
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah,
like, what does this information mean? That's another
yeah.
thing. But like, this is the information we have.
Yeah, for me, when you did the 30-second role play with your partner, and what I saw was confidence on your end. And then what I saw from your partner was willingness and safety.
Can we describe what the
Yeah, I
situation was? So
Can we
was
describe what the
just
situation?
realizing that I didn't tell what it was.
It's
Yeah,
okay. It's
sure. Do
okay.
you want to describe it?
So
Sure,
you
sure.
grab your partner's name is Michael, and you grabbed him and you said, "Hey, can I borrow you for a second?" And he doesn't know who we are. He doesn't. He just know you're on the phone with some people. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure." First, he was like, "Well, what? What? So can I just grab you for 30-second role play?" And you guys got in within inches of each other, and you were talking and whispering and kind of slowly talking, and it looks like your lips were on his lips, but kind of wasn't. And y'all were like here,
y'all were in each other's space.
in each other's face.
Space and space.
In such a quick amount of time. There was no foreplay needed. There was no nothing. There was no rules to it. And you were so close, and you were talking. I don't know what you guys were saying, but immediately in my body, I felt all of these things. First, it was like uncomfortableness. I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't even know us. We don't know him. How are they so confident doing this in front of us? And then two, I was like, wow, they hot and heavy already within 0.2 seconds. And I was like, whoa, would I be able to do that? Oh my gosh. I realized that I was so much into my thoughts. And I was like, okay, what does my body feel? I had to put the phone on mute because I was like, oh shit, oh shit. And I was like, oh baby, that looks hot. And after I let my body calm down, I realized, oh, that's something I desire. That is a longing because I see confidence, I see willingness, and I see a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw. So it was like all those packed in.
It's really interesting because on my end, I feel like the same way. I was excited when I saw y'all in each other's space, like breathing each other's air, just having like this sensual moment on camera with us. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But then I also felt like I felt a little curiosity and excitement because it's like I I was feeling it. Like I was feeling that moment and wanting to experience that. But then there was also another layer that I felt naughty, like I shouldn't be watching this. Like why am I in this room? Like
Do they need some practice?
yeah, right. So it was a multitude of things. I could tell you definitely my heart was going. We were hot and heavy from 30 seconds of you breathing each other there. Yeah.
With clothes. I just need to clarify. Like it was with clothes, with like, because usually people are like, what did you do? Like what kind of role play was this? But like, yeah, it was that. And the funny part was, oh my gosh, it would have been even more fun if you would heard what we were saying. Because I said, can I borrow you? I would really, really, really need your help with something. And he, IT guy, answered, is it about cables and the clouds? And I was like,
Man, that is what y'all said. What?
That is
That
so
is
funny.
not what I translated. It was like, look at the energy between these two.
Yeah.
No matter what y'all were saying, I cannot believe that is actually what y'all said. It is
Man,
like you were when you said really, it was the way you said it. You was like, even if you said, can I borrow you? Can I borrow you? I really, really need help with something. I think I heard that part, the really, really. And I was like, oh shit. Oh man, you have to tell Michael this. Tell Michael this. This is hilarious.
yeah, he is hilarious. Because then I kind of laughed and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted right now. clouds and IT security, like exactly what I wanted. And he's like, then you got the right guy.
That that
Like,
says
you
so
nailed
much.
it.
It says so much about y'all's playfulness.
Yeah.
That you're able
Yes.
to hold that space and it translates so differently and it's still playfulness, comfortableness. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you waited till now to tell me that.
I thought you heard it. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that's what we were saying. And
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
so
it's
funny.
And I mean, it's so many, it's like small important points in this because, yeah, it was 30 seconds and you just described like how it made you feel, how it made you think. And one really important part of this is like you already have these feelings. Like you have a connection to your lust. You see it in our thing, the playfulness, the lust, the goofiness, whatever you saw, or whatever different things you saw, but you already have it. So for people watching, some people can be like you said, like, wow, should I be seeing this? And like, is this for me? Like, oh my God, what are they going to do? Like, panic. But the feelings that you feel in your body, it's yours. It's yours. It's not really about me. It's about I'm doing something that is connecting you with something important. So it's information. And we can use those type of informations to figure out what we need. It's like the real you have or the conversation you have about being attracted to other people. But this is something similar. Like you can, use it as information because it's information. You don't have to put values or opinions in it. I did tell Michael later that night, I was like, I think I need those IT things now. Like, I think I need an IT guy. And he's like, of
Yeah.
course. How many computers and stuff do you want me to bring? I'm like, all of them. He's like,
Oh, that is so great. Oh my gosh. It's like I want to be able to tap into. Well, I know you're saying that we all have it. We can tap into it. It's just like we have to find the space in which
We can let it out.
we can let it out.
So you're saying that if we are experiencing that just by watching you, if that ignites an excitement or childlike play or whatever that we experience, that means it's already in us
yeah,
and we can share that experience and that feeling and that data that we picked up
yeah,
with another individual or with our partner. It has nothing to
both.
do with you two, right? It has nothing
Yeah,
to do
both.
with you.
Because it's not, sorry, it's not about me as a person, really, because you already got the feeling and, experience you got. And then you could choose how you would like to share it to the next step or next or in what conversation or whatever. But it could also be like a conversation like I really enjoyed what I was seeing. I wish I was brave enough to talk dirty stupid with you like she does, and then you can laugh about that. And then it's like, how do you even, get into the dirty, stupid talk like they do? Like, how do they make that horny? And then the other one can say, I really don't know, but it's really funny to think about it. And then you can laugh about it. And then that was a safe space talking about it. And the next time when you're out, eating in a restaurant, you can just take the fork and like, I would like you to eat me. Do you want to try? And then you can laugh about it because it's like, who would do that?
Yeah.
And that's also a playful, stupid conversation. And then you just bring it on, small pieces in whatever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cables.
All
Bring the cables.
all I keep hearing. What'd you say?
Bring the cables. You can also always have a cable. So you can tie her up. You know? Call the IT guy. But it's because it doesn't need to be, arousing. It could start with being funny. This is also a way to enter a safe space where we can open other doors. It doesn't need to be sexy. That's just one way. It could be so many other things when ours are goofy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really just you're opening up just a ton, like another way of thinking about this, because when we grow up in adolescence and young adults, we are always, I'll be honest, we're always looking at media. We're looking at how other people are performing this, whether it's through porn. If it was, to be honest, it was Channel 77 on box cable when I'm watching all of these. Sorry, it's a
Yeah.
channel in the United States. You grew up in Sweden, but it was through these medias, through all this play. Like, I'm gonna put on this performance, and this is the way it's supposed to be. And so
And that somebody was sensual, like sexy,
like they came in the room just hot and ready, and just and that makes you think that it always has to be like that, and you forget that it
Yeah.
can be healthy. It's a safe space, not lights, camera, action. Okay, we're putting together this show.
And it's
And
so, I mean, we all live in this for so many years, usually, until you break it and you're like, wait, this is not how I want it. This is not how it's funny for me. And then you need to figure it out. So, me and Michael, we goof around like this always. Like when we're out, if we are out and we do have drinks or a shot, and I'm like, Michael, swallow with grace. Come on. Like, it's embarrassing. And I say it really loud. So all the guys around him are like how, what's going on? And he's like, oh shit, yes, you're right. And I'm like, good boy. And I smack him in the ass and we walk away. And everybody's like so confused. They have no idea what to do. Like, they really don't know. And then we laugh because we're just goofing around.
yeah.
But but it's also a way, like, we can bring the playfulness everywhere. We cannot bring sexiness everywhere, but playfulness we can always bring, and then that works, you know.
Yeah.
That is a gem right there. You can't bring sexiness everywhere. It may not be appropriate, but you can bring playfulness everywhere, which means that the safe space is still always with you, no matter in what environment you're in. That just really, I'm gonna say that about 1,000 more times, but that's an impactful statement right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's more about what kind of playfulness do I want or need? What kind of playfulness works for my partner? Is it like, is it dancing? Is it goofing around at the gym? Is it swimming? Is it climbing? Is it, playing hide and seek? Like, what kind of playfulness is it? Is it, cooking without really knowing the ingredients? Is it, whatever? Because if we compare with the playfulness, yeah, you got it. If we compare with the playfulness we have in general, then we can look at the playfulness we have in our sex life or sexually or intimacy. But we can start with just looking in our ordinary life, like, what kind of playfulness do I have? And majority would say, shit, maybe I'm not playing enough. Or like, how would you have time to play? Or like, what is that? But it doesn't need to be the biggest thing. It's like, do you like to paint? Do you like to read poetry? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you, braid your hair? Like, it could be the smallest things time-wise, but if those things are connecting you with the lust of life, which creative things usually do, now that is going to connect you with the lust of sex, because of course they are connected. Because if we look at it from like a spiritual point of view, or more like a spiritual or energy wise side of it, then our sex lust, it's the lust of life, because we are capable of creating life together. We are melting together, we are giving each other all of these things, and it's possible that we create life and in energy wise. Now how could that not be connected with lives lust, life, lust of life, lust of sex? It's like, yeah, so you need sensuality, you need creativity, you need playfulness to be able to figure out, like, what do I want? Like, do I like to paint, or is painting right now a way that I'm performing? Then maybe I shouldn't paint in this way. Like, maybe this have been, society wise something else, because now I'm worrying how it looks. Or like, I like to dance, but right now I'm really focused in how everybody else is looking at me. Then dance on your own. Put in your music, dance on your own, dance in the shower. Like, give yourself those 2 minutes, like you said, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 10 minutes of just being free, of just flowy in the energy that you're longing for. And just what I was doing when I messed up this morning, like running around like a stupid hen around, got my coffee, still didn't finish it. I put in my headphones, I went out to the balcony, and I put in this song, River Flows in You, on violin and piano, and I was dancing ballet out on the balcony. And all the neighbors are always like, she doesn't make sense. Like, no. But I just needed that type of energy in my body. And then I did that for 2 minutes.
So it's
As a
interesting.
long statement.
No, it's something you taught me to anyway. Yeah. I think that it was a lot to chew on, and it was needed, because all I keep hearing is introduce the playfulness. If you feel like, well, what is that? I don't even know what playing is. I don't do that enough. Then that's a good kind of like slap in the face of like, I need to return back to that, because that is where that is in the realm of where I'm going to find safety. That's where the playfulness and the creativity is going to help me create further safety and connect it to myself, which then secondarily is going to make me feel more connected to my partner.
Yes, and you could just choose to, what happens if I walk backwards for 5 minutes, starting now, not telling anyone. I'm just I will just walk backwards for 5 minutes. I will put a timer, and I will walk to the laundry backwards, walk back to the kitchen backwards. And if my partner is like, what are you doing? It's like, nothing. How is your day? And I continue to walk backwards. That's also playful. Because it's so like unpredictable. Or when I was with my kids on IKEA, we usually played hide and seek, which makes sense for everybody who is around me. When I start counting, doesn't make sense to anyone after 10 seconds when I'm standing like this, and suddenly I'm like, ready, I'm coming, and everybody's like
I love that though. I love that the playfulness, you continue connecting with the playfulness that almost you've experienced as a child. So it's like connecting back to that root of yourself and what you desire, like getting closer to who you are, who you were, or just remembering who you were.
yes.
What made you
Yeah. Yeah, there is one thing here though, that for people who don't have these feelings from their childhood, because we are also talking about our inner childs, like we are talking about it like it's easy to do for everyone. And of course it's not. Like, some people don't have the luxury of having these memories. And for those people listening, maybe with the question is like, then I'm lost, or like, I wouldn't be able to do this, or what do I do then? It is possible to do this anyway. but it needs to be approached a little differently, which is why we're working with these things. I mean, because that's the point. Um, and it's not about understanding that it's possible to do, because if we are saying like, but we just go backwards, like we find the places backwards in our life where we had this or where we did this. But I have a friend, for example, that grew up in the Mexican borders. They never played. Like there was not space to be out playing because there were dead people all the way around on the streets. Like he doesn't know how to play. When I asked him, he's like, I don't know, playing. Do you mean like hiding under the house when people are shooting? Then we thought it was a play, and I was like, no, that wasn't what I meant at all. Like no. And then it could work on the opposite. Then we can use our sexual connections as a playground instead. It doesn't need to be in this direction. We could always go the other way around. It's always possible, but you probably need some help in sorting your way out so that it will be and hold as a safe space. But there's a lot of adults that uses sex or sensuality as the playground that they don't have in their ordinary life, or that they didn't have like as childs or when they grew up. So it's open for everyone. It's just important to point out that there is not one way to reach this. It's a polarity play, like I always say, but this is more like a circle. Like we can go, it connects.
Intertwined. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We've hit on so many good topics, so many gems.
You're like, how will I
Like,
remember all of
I know.
this? What should I go
I'm
back
happy
to?
we're recording this and we can it'll be posted so people can see and watch it however many times and share it, because I definitely think that this is foundational. A lot of the questions that we got, it comes back to what this conversation itself is about, which is, finding that playfulness in your life, and then from there, like building a safe space within yourself and your relationship where you feel free enough to explore, where you feel free enough to open new doors together and
give feedback, receive feedback, make adjustments, all that.
and also sit in discomfort together so you guys can feel what the real issue is. You can feel what it is that what both are saying and needing and wanting and longing, and from there build from that.
Yeah, and that's one way, like you said, be playful. And if you're unable to, and you're like, I don't know how to start. What is play?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another route that Anna was speaking about, which is going to the playground of sex and have fun. I'm probably gonna screw it up, but have fun in that realm. Maybe you can reiterate one more time the
Yeah,
second
but
route.
you can use sex as a playground, and then
There we go.
it's yeah, and it's so much about like consent and to express what I need and what I want because we're still adults. But it is possible to play with other adults or with myself if I'm clear and we have a consent, because then the consent is creating the safe space, because I can trust that you are here as an adult wanting to do this with me, and you should be able to trust that I will say yes or no when it actually is yes or no. Um, so yes, like we can we can use sex or sexual connections as a playground if we are careful enough in holding the space, but it really has to be conscious then. It's not like walking backwards around in the house and just pretending that I'm not walking backwards, which is really funny because everybody thinks I'm totally crazy. Well, not anymore. Now they're used to it. But in the beginning, everybody's like, do you even know that you're walking backwards? I'm like, I'm not walking backwards.
And that's fun in itself. I that's fun to be in your own little playground and the world's not invited. So no, you don't know what's going on here. Stay over there. I've spent all my life being tuned in to what the world is looking at. I even sometimes look at my situation as if, how does the world look at this? When it's not my business. That's not the playground that I'm on. I'm in this bubble. I want to stay in this bubble. But I want to pause really fast. How are we doing on time, Anna? I know that we probably we're hitting that
You're
hour and a
asking
half mark.
me that doesn't know what time it is today. Are we going on time?
I just wanted to know. I know you have other responsibilities, so if you had to, I want to give you the opportunity to, if you had to go and handle something, then you could. But if not, I wanted to dig into some of the questions or the responses we got from our stories, the questions we got on our stories, hit some of the conversation that's happening in the chat.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that if we pose a question on the stories, then people would absolutely know that we're going to answer them within a level.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
All right.
I just wanted to highlight what somebody had said. Ayeta or Lieta. I'm sorry, baby. Ayeta. She said, the more I listened to this, the more I realized how my ex had too much experience as a child where there was no safe place for general playfulness. It impacted a lot of our relationship, and there was no space for communication. Interesting. I love how people are having takeaways from what we're discussing.
Yeah.
And realization.
And I mean, yeah, and it's so hard because we usually don't it's hard for us to make assumptions or generalizations about our own history or childhood because that was normal to us. So it's really hard for many adults to just, look in the back mirror and like, oh, maybe that wasn't the best for me in this time. Or one of my parents was really sick for a long time. I didn't play. I didn't like, I realize now that this might actually affected my, ability to process what was going on, or, because we are like, this is how it is to be a human. Like, this is exactly how it is. And when we are able to look backwards, or like this person saying about her ex, then we can choose to look at it with more empathy and to understand. Like she was saying, like, oh, now I get it. Like, okay. And then that's such an important step along the way to just like, oh, holding the space for that. Now we're there again. Like, oh, oof, okay, right. Like, this is what it is.
I want to highlight in those 5 seconds, I was sitting with my uncomfortability and I was able to be silent and not have words. Anyway, just want to celebrate myself.
But it's true.
So,
It's just hard for people when we're doing live things when you're silent. It's like IKEA standing there and closing my eyes. People are like, is it broken, or like what happened? Like, is it something wrong? But it is important, and it's everybody can practice that. Like, like think about something that is like, wow, this is an important insight. Just stay quiet. 10 seconds, 30 seconds with yourself. Don't think, just breathe, and just like. Because there is an impulse of saying something. I had like 6 of them now because I'm actually supposed to talk in a live. So under this quiet time, I had like 6. Just wanted to say it. Like, I also have them. But, this is what is necessary to do sometimes.
yeah. Wow. Okay. So first, that was a good model, and it was a good just a reflection time for watching us, just a check-in with it in the hour and a half. That was maybe our first or second check-in just with our bodies. I don't know what we're doing individually, but it's necessary. So someone said, I never had gay sex and I'm so scared to mess up. It's not a question, but it's something that they wanted us to address. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, say it again. I never had gay sex and I'm scared of
I'm scared to mess it up. To mess
to mess it up. Yeah. I think everybody can relate to that as well. First time we're doing something new.
Yeah.
And do you want to answer like how you are thinking about this question? Maybe
I'll go
both. Okay, I will start then. I would ask, what does it mean to mess up? Is
what does
it,
it mean to mess up?
yeah, for that person? Like, this is what I think this person should maybe think about. Like, does it mean, not doing things the right way? Or is it like, what kind of fear is it? Is it being laughed at by my partner? Is it not making it sexy? Is it not making it good? Like, what is messing it up? Yeah, I can feel the tension around this with me. Like, it's so like, shit, so much is like on the play here. Oh. But then, like, what does it mean to mess up? What are you scared of? And then when you can put that down, what you're scared of, then it's possible to move on to the next step. Like, what do you need to be safe enough to explore this with that specific person or partner? Because it's about both. I need to be safe enough to explore something new, and I need to get confirmation from my partner or partners in that situation that I am safe. But I also need to know what that person like and want. And there's a lot of communication here that should be addressed in a non-aroused situation.
Yeah. I think there's nothing
Yeah.
else to add to that. Maybe explore the expectations, like you said. What does mess up mean? What does to do it right mean? What maybe is this a conversation to have on your own first? Start by answering these questions and then maybe talk about it with the potential partner and just say, this is how I feel about this. These are my fears, possibly. And I'm realizing that I need a safe space. So, what does a safe space look like for you? How can we create a safe space together in their own variations of however that conversation flows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything?
Yeah, no, I think all of that is relevant. And just being creating the space to be vulnerable, being to say like, I really like you and I really want to take this next step with you, but I am kind of scared and I don't want it to, I'm scared of messing up, which means, X, Y, Z. And I'm afraid that that's, if I do this, it's going to affect this.
It's going to manifest in my body. You're going to see me tense up and close up. You're going to see me, be hesitant,
Yeah, and all I really want is to have a great time with you. I think that is the basis of a conversation. That is where now you are finding the platform to talk about it with your partner and to now step into this realm together and be like, you know what, I hear your fear, and I want to create a place where we can just have fun too.
Yeah.
Right? If it doesn't feel good, then it doesn't feel good. We'll figure something else out.
But it's less about the sex
Mm-hmm.
and more about this person. We both want to have a good time together. We both want to express that we're having a good time together and make it less about the sex and more about what you want to connect with and play. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, sex could be so easy or so complicated. But and it could also be like a mismatch in the energy. Doesn't mean that I'm touching you in a way that you don't appreciate, or that you are bringing an energy into the room that maybe I usually like. But if we're both in the same, then it could be like a fight and not like a dance. And then that's another thing that is not about the technique or the details, or if I'm good in oral sex or not, or whatever. It's like, it's just us not matching the energy. in this situation? And then it's possible to talk about that. But usually people think that, I need to go in and I need to, because I'm so scared of doing it wrong. And then if the partner has the same, like, oh, then that's a really hard, like, sexual communication thing or embodiment conversation to use as a dance, because we both want to lead or we both want to follow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was interrupting you like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, no, it's okay. We're looking through the questions that people have sent us.
All right. It says, how can you introduce sex back into your relationship if it's been missing?
Yeah, that's also a usual, like a common question. And then for me, I'm thinking, why has it been missing? Like, is it an experience one of the persons in the relationship had that made us disconnect? Has it been like a trauma between us in some way? People, when they try to get pregnant or they try different things, then that can really like block lust up because it's so pressured to try to move forward. Is it that we never really made our sexual connection work, and now time passes by and we actually don't even know how to approach it? Like, it could be so many reasons for a relationship to not have the sexual meetings or sexual connections that they are longing for. So I think that's
It
the
could be
first
for,
question. Sorry,
yeah.
what did you
I
say?
was thinking of like possibly health issues. Maybe health things took a toll in the relationship, and then now you're like, okay, let's try it out now.
Or it's just, the grind of every day. You get so distracted from work, kids, and you get into this monotonous routine, and it fizzled out or it fades out, doesn't become a priority. You're dealing with other things. But obviously your body is longing and wanting and something more. So it's like bringing, I guess, the anxiety of like, well, this has been what's been happening. How do I, break or sever this, not sever, but like interrupt this pattern so we can address what it is that I really want to reconnect on.
Yeah.
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 And it's so much about, and also I think, like, is it the sex or is it what comes before the sex that you're actually missing? And if it's both, then okay, what is it in the intimacy and the sensuality that you're longing for? And what kind of sex are you longing for? So this could also be a way to try to, pin it up what I'm actually longing for, and not just saying to my partner, well, I wish we had more sex. That's not, it's not really even information for somebody to try to take some responsibility in, like, co-creating something of it. But we usually open that conversation like that, and then the partner is like, okay, but what do you mean? It's like more. It's like, what do you mean? Because even more, it's like more of the same, more in time, or is it like longer sex situations, or like, do you want more of what we have? Like, it's not, it's so many, it could be anything.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So this makes me think that I think majority or common, like it's a common theme that many people are not happy in their current sex and whatever is going on currently, and the barrier to making it better seems as if it's communication. This is my theory, and that whether they're
It's a good
fearful of
theory.
bringing up something so yeah, it's intimidating to bring up something so tender, and maybe they don't know how to talk about it. Maybe they don't have the tools, or there's this expectation that my partner is just. I have this expectation where they just need to know what to do. I need to meet this person and they need to have the package already. And it's like, no, each partner is different. No matter how many partners you've had, each one is going to be different, and you're going to need to know how get to learn about that individual. So conversations are going to be had. It's going to be included in the sex sometimes, where you're going to have to talk, and you're going to have to. So if there's this uncomfortability with talking about something that's already so tender, or you have this way of thinking about it, then that can create more and more barriers to getting to the bottom of what's happening.
Yes, definitely. And we usually make the mistake that we try to talk about sex when we are already aroused, which is blurring the message if I'm trying to say something like that needs a little more time to think of than just tapping into what I'm saying. Because if I'm saying, oh, but I would like to play this, and my partner is like in the energy idea, the co-creation, and I say something that puts my partner up in their head again, then the cycle of what we're doing could be, breaking, because then maybe my partner is like, oh shit, do I need to do something new? I really don't know how to do it. Okay, how do I do with these expectations? Okay. Yeah, horny level. Not. So it's
So
not
you're saying
always, it's not so easy
so
to
you're saying
talk about
maybe
sex.
talking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and especially if you have a partner that, goes up in their head, then it's better to talk about it like after or the next morning. Like, I was thinking about something when it is about our sex life, and I think, like yesterday, I realized that I would actually like to try something new. And it just came to me when you touched me in this way, because that was really, really interesting. Like, can we talk about that?
I find that interesting because and really relevant, because especially when you're in such a vulnerable position with your partner sexually, and you're getting, let's say you already have a fear of rejection or not being enough or not doing it right or failing or something like that, and something that's said, a critique or something is said during the act that puts you right back into that rejection, it almost is confirming the fear that you already have.
Yeah.
And so then now going into that vulnerability of the playfulness of sex gets harder and harder and more distant for you, because your fears have been strengthened in that area.
Yeah. And there's a lot of these things, affecting us and all the time. But I think it's important to remember that if we are in a sexual arousal, like we have a arousal in our bodies, then that could very easily switch to be like anxiety or stress, because that's also high arousal states in the body. So if I am high aroused sexually, it's really easy to be really stressed or have strong anxiety. And for the people who are suffering or having challenges with anxiety and stress in their ordinary life, like high levels of it, it could be really, really hard to enter a sexual arousal instead. And so, I mean, it's important to remember that they are kind of connected in the body, or like from an embodiment, like language of embodiment. Which is why we should sometimes not try to have difficult situations when we are like doing doggy style, and it's, the best situation for my partner is like, I would like to try something new. Like, okay, no anxiety
Yeah.
here. I thought we were enjoying, but sure, should we sit down and I get my notebook? No, like it could hit kind of.
That is a good point. It's a time to talk about it. consider that time, maybe not in the middle of it. And you brought up a good point of something I didn't know, that when you're highly aroused, that is also a place where anxiety can be as well.
It's like a highway to either
Extreme.
high arousal, level, whether you're sexually aroused, then you go into anxiety, fear,
Yeah.
Yes,
I do
that's
want
a
to
really
mention.
big topic. We could talk about that separately, like
Yeah.
burnout and stress and how it's connected with sexual challenges, or anxiety and how it's connected. It's like really big topics.
Yeah.
Sounds easy when I say it, but for everybody who can relate now, they were like, wait, why didn't anybody tell me this before? Like, is this why
Right.
when I had a burnout that my sex life is like totally off, not working? Not only because I'm tired, because I cannot get aroused. Like, it's not working.
Yeah. That is a separate topic because, I want to know more about that. Because I didn't know that you can just go into this deeper and deeper, honestly.
I mean,
Like,
the way that our conversation, I'm seeing it as like all these brackets. We've been going so deep into certain things, and it's so fun to have these conversations with you because I'm like, whoa, really? Everything is connected, and I love how you bring everything back to embodiment. It's all about what you're feeling,
and where you're feeling
and
in your body.
yes, honoring yourself in, when you're not feeling great, honoring yourself in just acknowledging what it is that you're experiencing and sitting with it.
Yeah, it's an important signal. And I think for everybody, because now we had like the longest talk in our history, also because we like to talk to each other, but maybe we should also say that the questions that we answered, 2 or 3 more questions, and the rest of them we will post in our Instagram, like a post with the answer. So people can continue to follow us, and they can also read answers that are maybe not connected with their own questions, that could be important information for anyone.
And
Anyway.
and that's a good point. We hit on a lot of the questions, and then the rest we can respond to on our Instagram stories, like you said. But we haven't said it yet, but this is the first of a few more lives that we'll have together this month. So people can always come back and rejoin our future conversations to get their question in or to get their specific topic talked about. So this is not going to be the last time you see Anna. Yeah, so come back. Hope you enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah. I think this was a very fruitful conversation. I don't know if there's any last words you want to say, Anna.
Where can people find you?
Yeah.
What website can they connect with you on? All those things.
Right. I have in my Instagram a link tree link. So the easiest thing is to follow me in Insta and check out those link tree links, I think. And now I got this feeling like, did I put it there? But yeah, I think I did. I will check it after this. Um and it's funny that you say, like, do you have any last words? Because I still didn't introduce myself. I was thinking about it a while ago, and then I was like, no, we just passed that.
I
But
was trying, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
neither did I. And now it's like, well, I don't really need an introduction. Actually, I think I kind of presented myself anyway. But I really like this way of having conversations about important topics, because I think also questions that people are sitting with that could feel really, really tricky to ask, we're not making a big deal of it, because it's not really a big deal. It's just a question for somebody who didn't study this as much or didn't work with it as much. And that is a safe space as well, to be able to talk about something, which could be listening to us talking about it, or actually having the courage to write this question from my own profile. Like, it's so many levels of this that I think everybody should circle back to, and like, right, like this was an important step for me. Or maybe just logging in to this live and like, shit, what are you going to say? Like, how complicated, or like, do I need to feel that I'm doing this bad now? Will they tell me all of the things that I should do? It could be so many levels of approaching sex from a personal point of view. So maybe I would like to send that empathy and respect to everybody listening. Like, think about how this was a step for you based in your situation in the right direction. Because it's not about us, it's about you. Like, what did this conversation give you? And why was it important for you? And how does it make you feel? And then sit with that.
I love that.
You do that for us.
Yeah.
You give us about 2 or 3 questions, and then
Yes.
you also introduce, shake it off, and then go do something else. Shake this off and allow yourself to get out of your mind and go and do something else. So yes, I hope you guys can sit with those questions. Beautiful last words, and this won't be the last time you see Anna. She'll be back.
We'll make sure that we introduce you and allow you to introduce yourself on the next test.
Yeah, but
I feel like
yeah, but it wasn't so
I honestly feel
important. I
like,
just remember it now.
yeah, honestly, based off of this conversation, I feel like it's evidence of who you are, what you do, and how valuable and knowledgeable and passionate you are about your work in sexology as a sex therapist. I want to call you what did I say? A somatic embodiment expert. There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty good as well. Yeah, why not? I can be that. I usually say that I'm a sex worker when we're at me and my partner. I'm like, well, I'm a sex worker, and they're like, and I'm like, yeah, he only dates sex workers. That's what he do. And then I just
It makes sense.
It does. I mean, technically.
And it speaks to your playfulness about it's not that serious. Don't take it so serious. I'm a sex worker. I work with sex.
it's like